Yeah, right back down. So pretty good quarter reported by Apple, but not much price movement these days. Guess we're in floundering mode, even by the big boys. MasterCard's down 2%, touched 400 and pulled back. Hmm. FUV. All right, blockchain service now. Soxel gap and crap day today. That's what we've got. Gap and crap. PLL still looks promising. Spotify took a big dump yesterday. Earnings. Have to wait another quarter to get stuff going again. At least that's what it looks like. And then so far, Tesla. Tesla's been not Tesla so far. Not bad though. So far, very much lack of volume on Tesla, which is pretty good. Happy at the 700 level. And still above support, so not much to do there. Seems like very much a floundering market. Let's take a look at the global watch list. ADS, Alliance Data, I believe they're data centers. These oil stocks are getting going. There's another oil stock, FANG. Evercore Partners. I'm not sure if this is financial or oil. I think it's financial. Magellan Charter. Signature Bank of New York doing well. EOG, another oil play. I believe this is more natural gas than oil. Soxel's up 2. Pinnacle is another oil. Five's not setting up too bad. LPLA, financial advisors to the advisors. Wow, Sherman Williams killing it. If I can get him back. Sherman Williams painting the world, for crying out loud. Hey, what's up, Rob? So tech stocks, yeah, looks like all these the oil stocks. Wonder if oil's got a cup on it. Natural gas doesn't look too bad. Morning, Ellie. Palladium is clean. It's found in Russia and Africa. Palladium. The hell's palladium do? Generationmining.com to learn more. Apple sold off? Yeah. Well, they're not running tech stocks. So that's what's going on. Yeah, Facebook's not doing too bad considering. It's down a little bit from its open, but not like Apple. Apple's already retraced most of it. Had a really good quarter too. Yeah, it's just not ready. Market's just not ready. Short term is choppy garbage. I don't know. I'm getting a little. Usually I don't pull too much politics into the mix, but last night he was talking about another $1 trillion plan. Like I'm wondering how many trillions of dollars are they planning on spending now? So I don't know if that's getting into the market. I mean, I don't know. But yeah, all the big ones are kind of stagnating. You're seeing a lot of going through the thing today and kind of noticing what we've seen. A lot of oil and gas plays are like this Fang. This is an oil and gas play. Um, you got quite a few of these that have been doing pretty good lately. Could be Ellie, could be. Um, yeah, these have all been kind of blasting off here since the third quarter last year. All the oil and gas plays. So I think there's that rotation going on. Hexel, EOG. That's not what I clicked on. Pinnacle. This is also oil and natural gas, I believe. Same about the same time. So when the oil market started to recover, these stocks also started to recover. Keep in mind, the stock market has gone up a bunch, likely due to some inflationary things, and these oil stocks really haven't done that because they've been beaten down ever since the crash over here when oil was negative. Dividend stocks? Hmm. Nah, he'll be dead long before that. Try REITs. WHD. This is I think it's oil, shale oil, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I'm still not sure if this is oil or financial pinnacle. I think it's oil. What are they talking about right there? Half the time I get this disclosure about, oh, this company does this until I'm looking for that disclosure. Then I get nothing. Like, thanks. How come I? Oh, there we go. That's what I need. I need that window. Pinnacle. Oh, Pinnacle Financials. This is financial. Yeah. So that's financial. There you go. So Pinnacle's financial. A lot of these secondary financial companies are doing good. Signature Bank in New York is jumping around on me, but there you go. Signature Bank in New York making new highs. Mm, there's a few others here. What's ADS? Alliance Data. Looks like they had a good quarter. Geez, 317 to 574. Man, that is a substantial. Hey, Ethan, okay, bud? Hold on, my guys. Hi, bud. You can come back in, at some point. It's not actually goodbye. We're in the same place. Ah, Ethan. Ethan's amazing. Sup, Jared? Rain day for you, so dungeon work? Yeah, I saw your dungeon. I think it's pretty much a dungeon at this point, isn't it? All right, let's go back down to the actual list, see what's what. Yeah, geez, I was talking about the mortgage yesterday. Bonds rising? Was that why we're dropping? And he was freaked out about that. He's like, are we gonna be okay? I'm like, yeah, dude, we'll be fine. We're good. Is it futures? Does futures show me bonds? There we go. You talking about yields are rising again, JJ? Yeah, as our bond prices are going lower today. Meaning yields, yields, yield. That's a weird ass word. Where's the 10-year treasury? 1695. Don't put more Y's in the mix, JJ. I got enough problems. What else is up? Nokia. Wow, looks horrible. Except for today. Let's look at 10-year yields. Usually pull up a CNBC chart. 10-year yield. Yield? Yield. It's not yield, it's yield. Let's go to 1 day. See if it'll give it to me. There we go. Rising a little bit. Oh, yeah, there you go. There's your rise. Yeah. That could put a damper on things. Pending home sales rose less than expected in March as prices soared. This is interesting. Pending home sales, a measure of signed contracts on existing homes, rose 1.9% in March. The average contract rate on the popular 30-year fixed mortgage started the month at 3.22, ended at 3.45. It started the year at 2.76. Pending sales were 23% higher than March 2020. There's a caveat to that, though. Low inventory has been a consistent problem. Yeah, I was listening to an Elon Musk interview a couple days ago. It really wasn't an interview. He was doing his X Prize. You guys heard about his X Prize? $100 million if he can solve carbon capture and sequestration. So he was talking there, and he was discussing how that we're gonna see a huge population decline in 20 to 30 years. And I'm like, really? Like that'll cause a major financial crash. Not that it's going to happen all at once. Um, Birth rates globally by year. So I wonder. Oh, there we go. We can find all kind of information on the internet. So births per thousand people. Wow, we had 35,000 births per thousand people. That's awesome. Wow. Mama's a hoe. Oh, it's 37.239. I thought that was a comma. It's a decimal. All right. So, how many people are here? 100,000. Let's expect 35 million people to be born this year. Uh, I'm hilarious. So to 2012, actually, yeah, we are kind of declining per thousand people pretty substantially. Oh, that's current. Wait a minute. Oh, it's 2100. So we were in 1950 at 37. So basically 3.7% replacing population per year. And in the year 2000, well, I guess 19, what would the middle be between 1950 and 2020? That's 70 years, so 35, so that would be 85. That's 27. So we go from 37 to 27. We're now at in the 17s. Black sheep? No, I don't know what that is, Jared. Yeah, they stopped that though. They're letting you do two kids now. So it looks like this is global stuff here. Annual percentage changes. So yeah, they're projecting by 2100 we're only going to be replacing 11% of ourselves, which is about 40%, 30 to 40% decline from where we're at today. Yeah, so I wonder if we are going to be hitting a that's right, the oldest child in the whole country. That's what you mean, Jared, in the whole country. Let's look at United States because that's where I am. That's where we are. We used to be at 24. Now we're at 12, going on to 10. So, and actually, United Kingdom, we're currently at 12. United Kingdom, let's see about the UK. Currently at 11. And now let's look at China. Oh, come on, China. Maybe they don't have that data. Okay. Chile. And now I don't know what's going on. So the global warming people saying we need less people, and the Elon Musk people saying we need more people. I got mad respect for Elon, so it's hard to know who to believe here. There you go, China. So we're what, 17, 11, and they're at 11, and they're going to they say get lower. Usually as prosperity increases, birth rates decline. That's weird. Okay, so Elon's a little bit correct. Population. Oh wow, it looks like we are gonna. They're guesstimating we're gonna hit a peak around the 2030s. Peak humans around 2030, then less humans. Or is that China? Am I still in China? Maybe I'm still in China because that's population 1.4 billion. Yeah, see, that's China. Do India? Oh gosh, that's exponential. That's exponential growth forever. So the human race will eventually just be Indians. That's a good point. Ah, how'd I end up down here? So let's do birth rate. Oh no, they're going. Is that India? Birth rate for India? No, that's not going up exponentially forever. It's definitely well, we're at 17. Really? Over 40? That doesn't seem right. India birth rates 1950 to 1921. Yeah, somehow that doesn't seem right. Now, granted, I don't know every Indian family, but every Indian family that I know has many children. But maybe that's changing. I just don't see it. So ranked by birth rate, 21. So Angola, Nigeria, Zambia, Cameroon. Most of these are in Africa. You're less economically developed nations, unfortunately. Hmm. Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if our world's declining or not. Let's go back to stocks and see how they're faring. Nasdaq pulled back a little bit, still positive on the futures. SI pulled up. Soxo came down a little bit. Facebook rolling over. Let's see if Apple's in the negative now. Nope, still positive. 0.46. Apple put in a pretty damn good quarter too. I saw somewhere that they basically had 50% growth on everything. So it'll run again, just not right now. Yeah, they had pretty good earnings. Apple is rising, Caterpillar's gaining. I wonder how much cash they have. So lots of price target raises on Apple. They got a dividend coming up too. A whopping 22 cents. Of course, I believe that's quarterly, so not too bad. Apple should be like giving the best dividends. Added 90 billion to a buyback? Holy fuck. 90 billion to a buyback? No way. That's a lot. That's like a lot. Although, let's 90 billion. What do you do with 90 billion dollars? They should be giving it out in dividends, I'd think. Earnings impressive boost buyback plan. Let's see if they go into the buyback plan. They've bought a lot of stock back. Like a lot. 90 billion expansion. Oh, screw you. I hate you. For the quarter, Apple posted revenue of 90 billion and they're going to buy back 90 billion. All they do is print money. That's all they do. 12 billion ahead of street estimates. That is crazy. Profit for 140 a share, crushing street estimates at $1. 90 billion expansion. Increased quarterly dividend by 7% to 22 cents a share. And usual platitudes. This quarter reflects both our enduring ways our products have helped our users meet this moment in their own lives. Seriously? Like that's what this quarter told you? This quarter told you that you're helping us meet this moment in our lives. Wow, Apple, you really think a lot about yourself. As well as the optimism consumers seem to feel about better days ahead for all of us. Geez, CEO Tim Cook. Sounds like he's drinking happy juice. Sweeping innovation across our product lineup. I will give them that M1's dope. I mean, I can't be mad at the M1, but I do wish that they would have slapped on 64 gigs of memory into that fucking chip and just been done with it. What does that mean? 90 billion expansion means they're allocating an additional. So what I'm looking for is their buyback plan. They have a buyback plan. I've seen it before, but I don't really pay close attention to it. Looks like they don't talk much about it here. Um, but yeah, so max sales were up 70%. 70%. That is massive. That is absolute. That means everyone up just upgraded. Like everyone. I think Ellie's the only holdout. But seriously though, they should have just put like 24 gigs. Just do 24 gigs of RAM and that M1 chip, and no one would be bitching about anything. Actually, there's plenty of things to bitch about, but after opening the border, cocaine was never that cheap. What? It improved the lives of our customers I talked to, which is a small gated community in Palo Alto. Okay, gotcha. Gotcha. Yeah, extrapolating it over into drugs. Yeah, this was an excellent quarter for the cocaine trade. It goes to show that our customers are very optimistic about the things we're putting up their nose, and it's so stupid. It's so stupid. Um, he said the company expects revenue to be reduced by 3 to 4 billion in the June quarter due to supply constraints. Gross margin expected to be 41 to 42%. Jesus, they make some highly technological items. It just the most massive margins you can imagine. That's crazy. That is freaking nuts. All they do is print money. All they do is print money. If they were to drop their prices by like 20%, they would still get more money just because of volume. They'd get more cash. That's absolutely amazing. Okay, let's go back and see if we can find the actual buyback plan. Buyback and dividend. Oh, look at Apple's share buyback and dividend. Here we go. Oh, this is in 2019, so a little bit outdated, almost 2 years old. I'm sure they've upgraded that in the future or in the past. Apple instituted a $10 billion share buyback that will start in October, last for 3 years. So we're still in the middle of that one, that $10 billion share buyback, which 10 billion is nothing. 90 billion though is ridiculous. Let's go see how much cash that Apple's got. Cash per share is $3, 391. Okay, so 391, 3.91 per share times 16 billion. So they have $66 billion in cash. Just cash. I don't know if that's on US shores, off of US shores, because that's the thing too. Oh, look at the ROE, 90%. This thing is just murdering every metric. Total profit margin is 21%. That's ridiculous. Go away, General Mining. I can't click on anything. I need myself an iMac. So they basically, they make so much money that all they're doing, they can't spend it fast enough. So they're just buying their stock back. They're like, we're the best performing asset in the entire industry. We're just going to buy our own stock back, and shareholders will benefit, which they technically they should via vis-a-vis the laws of supply and demand. With every new Mac, you should receive something for free, like maybe a charger for the iPhone that you should be buying. 147,000 employees. They need a bigger dividend, but I don't know. That's crazy though. Apple's nuts. I saw a chart once about like a chart for Apple's buybacks. Apple's $460 billion stock buybacks. Look at that. That's amazing. Apple stock buybacks quarterly. Let's take a look. So every quarter, these fuckers buy $20 billion worth of stock, give or take, at least for the past several years, as they've just printed money like no one's freaking business. So they were selling some stock early on, just a few million, it looks like, in the early teens. And then now they're buying back 20 billion, 16 billion. These are a quarter, 20 billion, 17 billion, 16 billion, 23. They're buying back other companies' market caps in their own stock. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, Ellie. It's just fascinating and amazing the numbers they're throwing up. Like you're able to buy back $25 billion and feel comfortable with that after all your expenses, after research and development, after developing the new phones, after all your stupid website design and marketing. I mean, Jesus, imagine if they just laid off 15% of their workforce. This thing would just go through the roof because they have another, I don't know how many billions of dollars to spend. But they could probably, you look at these big companies and they'll fire, Ford will fire 50,000 workers on a drop. Like, oh, we're doing bad. How many? Okay, let's cut like 50,000 people. Imagine if Apple did that, how much more cash they would have. That always sticks in my head that these companies just cut, 50,000 jobs on the drop of a hat. And these guys with 161,000 employees, you can argue they could stand to lose 15% of them and really not skip a beat. Let's look at 10-year, although. Oh, can't do that. Got to pay for that. Yeah, so no, I mean it's probably a good use of cash. I can't argue against it, but $90 billion stock buyback program. They're like, we're going to have 90 billion. Because look at this. Even back in 17, they were only buying 10 billion. Now they're doing 20 billion and they just announced 90 billion. They don't even know what to do with the money they've got. That's what a stock buyback means. Stock buyback means I have no idea what to do with this money. Buybacks and dividends, that's what they mean. I have no idea what to do with this money. So that's what's going on with Apple. I wonder if Google. I know Google. Let's see what Google's doing. Or no, Microsoft. Yeah, you're gonna make me bold it, aren't you? Yeah, make me bold it. So see, they're buying 6 billion back. They were buying 1 and 2 billion back. Now they're buying 6 billion back. Man, all these tech comp. See, this is the problem. This is a problem, I think. In reality, you want to talk about seriously, honestly, in my opinion, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but it, would you agree that a lot of money in our economy gets swallowed up by Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, who actually isn't doing too many stock buybacks? Look at that. Not many at all. They don't do too many stock buybacks. But if you look at Apple's, and I don't know the way to, I don't know what the right answer is to this, but this 24 billion every quarter, all this money right here, this is dead money. I mean, if Apple, it's absolutely dead money. So do we have a total here? Do they give a total for stock buybacks? I think we saw like 400 billion or something. Actually, you could look at total stock buybacks. Buybacks and dividends. Why stock buybacks are dangerous for the economy. They see if they should have a chart. Give me a chart. Yeah. Yeah, so what happens is these guys so they buy the stock back, which is fine, but the problem is when things do start to decline, all that money that was bought back in stock basically evaporates. I've talked about this before. I think it's a problem. I don't know what can be done about it though, or what needs to be addressed. But that's not what it is. Yeah, I don't really mind dividends. I think some research needs to be done on stock buybacks and its effect on economies during crashes and stuff like that. Yeah, also if you look at wages, most of the money that used to be used for wages goes into stock buybacks and CEO compensation. Buybacks and dividends. Yeah, they need to split up. Oh, there you go. They need to split up dividends. I think dividends are fine, but most of those go to stock buybacks too. Anyway, all right. So market looks like it's turning a little bit negative. Tesla's turned negative on the day for sure. Stocks at 1.34 is coming down. Facebook still holding up relatively well. Nvidia fairly flat, although not leading in the right direction today. A little consolidation. Hopefully that'll right itself. We'll see if Nasdaq's getting pretty tight up here on the Bollinger Bands. Hopefully we can go flat and then continue upwards. We just had a nice expansion, and we're gonna be chopping around that middle Bollinger Band here really quick. Yeah, Tesla coming down. Volume is not really that heavy, not considering. Yeah, so Tesla's coming down a good amount here. Only 0.86 on the day, which isn't too bad. I think I just saw Microsoft. MasterCard's down 185. It was down about 2. So it's kind of, it bounced a little bit, but so there's Microsoft taking further losses after a pretty good quarter too on Microsoft's case. And I don't know what's up with this spike. Does anyone else have this spike on their chart? I wonder if Finviz has it. So the low here would be 245.85. It's not a huge spike. Low is 252. So they don't have that spike yesterday on Finviz. Oh, for crying out loud. Yeah, Marcus definitely meh. It's a little less than meh, actually. M2, it's roughly 5.5% year over year increase. I believe you. So you're saying that only 3% of our growth is economy and 5.5 of it is money supply? And it's kind of hard to argue against that watching 2020 unfold, right? Yeah, so Microsoft taking it on the chin this morning so far. Watching why we're in stocks and not 100% crypto. Um, Can't argue too much. Can't argue too much about that. I mean, stocks have good opportunities. Okay, get the hell out of here. Inflation is 5.5% no matter what they say. Yeah, that's probably accurate, actually. Where are you getting that 5.5% from? Is there a website or a link you want to share or something? Yeah, they basically, well, if you look at that M2 money supply, um, they've basically been printing nonstop. You know, you looked at this yesterday. They've been going nonstop for ever since, I mean, really since the beginning, since 1980. ETH accumulation distribution looks better than any stock. ETH's looking phenomenal. I mean, I've been doing a lot of looking into watching some videos and getting some research done, and it really does. I mean, Ethereum does look really good. But I'm, yeah, yeah. You look at this money supply. A lot of people, oh, so you just take this and then divide it by the years or something? Is that all you did? Just a simple one? That's 81 to 2001. So that's 30 years. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll take your word for it, JJ. I'm not going to do that as an exercise, but I'll definitely take your word for it. Yeah, with a 5.5% inflation rate, you got to be making about 12 to 13% on an annualized basis to keep up with inflation and grow your money. Yeah, definitely fairly stable. I don't know if how that affects, UK and all these other markets. I don't know if it affects it at all. Later, Jared. Yeah, I don't know how that affects that at all, but that's definitely a concern. Yeah, if you're not getting a 5.5% raise per year, you are in somehow missing out. And I mean, you can see it all around us. My wife yesterday, so she's got a bachelor's in architecture, and yesterday she comes home and says, "Hey, I think I want to get a master's in real estate development planning." I'm like, "Damn, where the hell did that come from?" Long story short, I'm like, "Hey, okay." Long story short, she finds a program locally in the WP Carey School of Business, which is a pretty good business program. It's only 9 months long for her to get this degree. I'm like, oh, that's pretty dope. 9 months long. I'm like, oh, how much is it? She's like, oh, it's only $38,000. I'm like, holy fuck. What do you mean only $38,000? Only $38,000. If you were to look at that same course 10 years ago, it probably would be like 20 grand. So yeah, I know, JJ. There's like no point to having it in a savings account. You're losing 5.5% a year. I guess where do you put it though? That's spendable that you can have access to. Well, I guess you'd have to keep some cash on hand, but keep a few thousand cash and wow, 7 years, JJ? Damn. That's scary, man. That's fucking scary. I know. I should move some cash then. I should move some cash in. I'm not sure into what. Markets are kind of blah right now. I want I mean, What would be a good place to put some cash that you're not necessarily trading with? I mean, I guess you could just put it in TQQQ. That's going to outperform. We already know that. That'd be a good place to put some cash for a year or two. That wouldn't be too bad. Um, or crypto. I mean, crypto is a lot more volatile though. You could put it in ETH. You could put it in BTC into crypto. Yeah, that that could be. Yep. What if I do a self-directed Roth IRA into crypto? But crypto's so damn volatile. But we're in a good cycle right now. Yeah, Tesla, NEO. You mean NIO? What's NEO? I know you ain't talking Neo crypto. Put it all in Neo. Yeah, let's not do that. Say we did. I mean NIO? Could be NIO. NIO is a good one. I think NIO is gonna hang out for a bit. Doesn't look so good today, but market's looking like shit today. And the market looks like it's rolling over now. We're barely positive. Yeah, I could do Ethereum. Start running Ethereum nodes. Although that's not really appropriate for cash. That's kind of a business. Yeah, I could try to do that though. Well, that's just a trade, JJ. I'm talking about cash. Like where would you hold cash that's relatively less volatile that can give you more than 5% a year? Like I wonder what tips even provide you. Why don't you want to run nodes? See Treasury inflated protection securities, where to buy tips. Yeah, I no, I agree. You want to hold a few thousand in cash. I definitely agree with that. But the rest of your savings, though, the rest of that egg, where would you put it? Ellie, you weren't listening at all. You weren't listening at all. Let's see how to buy tips. Because I bet you these don't even pay 5%. These tips, these are supposed to be your inflation hedge, but I bet you these only pay 2%. I'll bet you. Rates and terms. 3 and 7/8. Well, that's better than two. Tips pay interest every 6 months. Interest is a fixed rate determined at auction through the fixed markets. I think Tesla's not necessarily stable, JJ, but I mean, I think we're past the point on Tesla where it's ultra risky. Tesla's not going bankrupt. I think everybody can agree on that. There's very low likelihood on Tesla going bankrupt. So yeah, I guess if you want to put cash into a Tesla, you could. I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, Tesla, Apple, Microsoft. If you want to put it in an individual stock, could put it into a crypto like a Bitcoin or an Ethereum. Um, I mean, what else? I mean, the crypto universe is pretty good too. Now, I think you have a few that are fairly stable. Uniswap may be fairly stable. It's been stable recently. Um, Trying to think of alternative cryptos. Hmm. But yeah, I think ETH is probably a really good one. ETH, Bitcoin. See what other networks come up. There's a lot on the come up. I think Amazon. You could do Amazon. You could do Microsoft. You could do Tesla, Apple. I think all those are good ones if you wanted to hold cash for periods of time. I'm not really mad at that. Yeah, better than putting it in a savings account. Definitely right about that. And I don't think tips at 3.78%. Like this would very likely be if you're very risk averse. And here you go. Oh, look at this. They're telling you inflation at freaking 4.25% right there. They're telling it to you in their tips, but they're still touting it as at 2%. Bunch of lying bastards. Yield at auction 4.35, 3.99. So they're telling you right here it's 4%. Chips are used in terms of 5, 10, 30 years and are offered in multiples of 100. The price of a fixed rate security depends on its yield to maturity and interest rate. If the yield to maturity is greater than interest rate, blah, 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 blah. I wonder if you can sell these at any time. So your inflation adjustment, 8271, 105. What? Oh, that's yearly. Really? You give us information from 2009? Thanks. Treasurydirect.gov. What the hell? This is from the Obama administration and early Obama. That's funny. Only in a crash do you consider alternatives, but eventually that alternative won't be USD or BTC. Um, well, in a major crash, everything's going to go to shit. We saw that in 2020. Bitcoin's going to go to shit. Everything's going to go to shit. I mean, the only thing you really want is cash. It will be USD. As much as you say it's inflated, and maybe it is inflated, but during that crash, USD is the bedrock of the global economy. So in a crash, you want USD. Yeah. Oh, you're saying eventually it won't be USD, but BTC? That's far, far into the future. That's very far into the future, though. USD is here it's for the foreseeable future. I mean, there's no future where the United States dollar is not the major currency right now. Everyone is just, look, everyone understands the history. They understand it's very likely to happen, but zero people know the timeline. That's the thing. So you just kind of have to go with the reality that is now, regardless of whatever you fear 20 years from now. Because there's a saying in the market, even if you're early, you're still wrong. So, no, that's exactly what I said, JJ. But what's your time frame? What's your time frame for that? That's what I'm saying. We're saying the same thing. I mean, look at the 2020 crash. Would you rather have been in Bitcoin or would you rather have been in the dollar? Like during the crash event, you would rather have been in the dollar than in Bitcoin, right? And so what's this, who's to say the next crash that gets flipped? Who's to say the next crash that Bitcoin is stable? So, no, we don't. We don't get close. Well, okay, I guess in the scale of the universe or whatever, every cycle we technically get closer. But who's to say that Bitcoin? Well, that doesn't tell you about reserve currency. That just tells you about dollar supply. This is going back to 1980. It's been the same damn trend since 1980. It's been going on 30 years. Who's to say it won't go on another 30 years? Who's to say it won't go on 30 years? All right, let's check that out. BTC USD M2. Yeah, it looks like a Bitcoin chart. Bitcoin's rise has been so crazy. Every chart's going to look like it's just going to look like the Bitcoin chart for the most part. So we were down here at 0 and we were up. Wait a minute. 3.5. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. Yeah, I'm not mad at Bitcoin. I'm not mad at Bitcoin. I'm just saying during a crash, Bitcoin will crash as well. If you I mean, maybe that's the thing. You make your currency Bitcoin. You know what I mean? You'd be like, "Hey, I'm just going to hold Bitcoin and I'm going to have some cash enough to pay my pay my fiat responsibilities and I'm just going to put everything I got into Bitcoin because sh- I don't have any major arguments with that. I mean, generally I don't. But during a crash, like look, if the US economy if the US loses the reserve currency status, I don't know what investment will be quote unquote safe. Will Bitcoin survive that? Yes, I 100% agree with that. Bitcoin should survive that. At the same time, I would look at who the biggest Bitcoin holders are. They people denominated in the USD dollar? If you can find out those addresses. So I guess the question is, can you figure out who owned these Bitcoin right here? Because here's the thing, if the USD crashes, how many of these addresses are people that use USD? And if they need to raise capital, you bet your ass they're going to be selling BTC as well. So it's nothing is truly safe. So just get out of debt. Just have no house payment. You know, we'll get with Jared. We'll all learn how to grow our own eggplants and go from there because that's basically what it is. You have to have personal security to have security, and that's really what it is. Top 500. Where's Satoshi's? They don't count Satoshi's anymore. Doesn't he still have a million BTC? What wallet? No real way to tell unless he sends a signed message. You can assume which blocks he mined. Yeah, box of ammunition. I'm not mad at that. Yeah, just I mean, look, when they lose reserve currency, when the U.S. loses reserve currency status, it's not. It hopefully won't be a violent event. Hopefully, it won't be World War III and we lose. You hope that's not the case, because if we're gonna lose to anybody, it's gonna be China, which would suck. Um, so they're arguing that is Satoshi. The heck is that? Anyway, yeah. So my general point is that if the U.S. loses reserve currency status, the people holding USD are fucked, and Bitcoin's going to have a bad moment or month or whatever. But yeah, I think it would bounce back, and then yeah, you could sell it into whatever denomination currency you wanted to. If you wanted to move out of the U.S., which I don't know. UK lost its world reserve currency status. I don't know how that was living for the next 20 years. Maybe in that case you wanted to move to the US. So I don't know if you can immigrate to China from the US. Like if you're worried about that, just fucking move to China. Move to China and just hold Bitcoin in if they don't take it from you. Um, Otherwise, you're in the UK, JJ, if I remember correctly. So UK will be fine. Just make sure you own your house, own your planes, own your hangars. Yeah, Dutch had world reserve currency status. Absolutely. Yeah, so it changes and it changes relatively quickly. It changes quickly. So if you were in the middle, I'm not sure what the war is called versus the Dutch and the English, but if you were alive during that time and had the ability, which obviously most people did not have the ability to exchange currencies, that I would assume traveling from between those two locations would be fairly expensive at that time. But if you had the ability to, how would you manage that? Would you buy the British pound with your Dutch Deutschmarks or whatever? Deutschmarks is German, I believe. So Dutch marks. Would you go buy it with your Dutch marks and would you do that? And then would you go back to Germany? Would you stay in England? Like, how does that look at for an individual? And then if you look at UK and the US, like how does that look? You know, do a little bit of research, but I can imagine the UK wasn't a horrible place to live after the war. I know that they were rebuilding. Like I don't know, you would know a little more than me on that. And then during World War II, would you want to move to the U.S. from there, which obviously probably would have been expensive as well because air travel really wasn't cross continental. You'd have to take a boat and get on the Titanic and sink and die. But you could have moved to the U.S. and flourished here. So, like I said, are you going to move to China, or you have an alternative, which is hold Bitcoin now because obviously we didn't have that. You could just buy Bitcoin and then just be rich in UK whatever versus Bitcoin. It's a good thought experiment, and one day it will happen. Well, does it matter where you live? Well, in a way, I mean, in a way it does. In a way, I mean, it just depends who you are, what your goals are, I guess. But all I'm saying is that if you want to be in a good currency, typically, if you want to be in a good currency, typically you will live there where that currency is. Typically. Or I guess you could try to hold USD at the local bank. Yeah, or just hold it in Bitcoin. There's probably some Bitcoin card you can spend. Yeah, things will be different in the future. I mean, I think there's already some merchants that accept Bitcoin. There's already yeah, I mean, in the effect of like I said, I'm not mad at Bitcoin. I'm not mad at Bitcoin. So all I'm saying is that have all your debts paid off. Just owe no one anything. Own everything you own, and then have your Bitcoin and keep money safe from inflation, and then have your cash reserves for everyday emergencies. Unless there's like a Bitcoin debit card or something. I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. Uh, they'll still be around, JJ. The pound ain't going anywhere. The USD ain't going anywhere. I mean, Great Britain freaking merged with the EU and still kept the pound. I don't think it's going anywhere. You may end up with this super inflated thing and then Bitcoin. I mean, yeah, Bitcoin's good, man. I can't argue against Bitcoin on pretty much any level. On pretty much any level, but will it be stable? It won't be US dollar stable. So I mean, even as the US dollar is inflating, it's a slow inflation. I guess if you take like the annual rise of Bitcoin, it's a fast rise in rising. So, um, but definitely doesn't feel stable. But I guess if you've been holding it for any period, you hold it like almost past 2 or 3 years, you're pretty much profitable. Yeah, it may be JJ. I can't. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not going to argue with that at all. Yeah, we don't even know the full extent what it's going to do. I mean, Ethereum. So what do you guys see that someone's issuing bonds on Ethereum, like an actual government? The EIB, whatever EIB is, European Investment Bank. It says the European Investment Bank. So I don't know if that's the EU or if that's a private company, but they're selling digital bonds on Ethereum. So 100 million. What is that? I don't know that. That's not euro. That's not pound. Anyway, 121 million worth are set to be priced on Tuesday. So that is the future. Remember I mentioned bond markets the other day? That's the future right there. So, yeah, ETH is big, man. ETH is big. All right, somehow I disconnected. All right, guys, I'm going to bounce. I'm going to get out of here. Oh, good talk. Yeah, cash is garbage. Thanks for bringing that up, JJ, with the M2 and the inflation rate. Yeah, inflation rate's about 4 to 5%. So that's definitely a concern. Um, we'll continue this discussion tomorrow, and I don't know. I may have to move some cash because I do have a decent amount of cash again. So, all right, guys, I'm bouncing. I'll see you guys later.